With America Online, you can point and click your way across the internet. And their web browser makes it easy to explore the World Wide Web.
Ever fight with a sibling over who rewinds the VHS tape? Every 90s house had a remote held together by tape. Blow-up chairs we treated like royalty, and plastic pets we treated like actual babies. In this video, we're counting down some of the funniest things from the 90s we all experienced. And some are so weird you'll wonder how they were ever normal. Let's kick things off with something shiny that came with a promise. 1,000 free hours of painfully slow internet. In the 90s, these AOL CDs were everywhere. Inside mailboxes, magazines, even pizza boxes. But what they really offered wasn't just a disc, it was access to the internet. Or at least an attempt. Logging on meant your computer made weird robot noises. Your phone line was completely blocked, and you pray no one picked up the phone while you were connecting. And once you were online, you'd wait forever for a single web page to load, and clicking on anything felt like rolling the dice. Will it load, or will it crash? Still, for many families, this was their very first taste of the internet. It didn't matter how slow it was magical. Even if the connection dropped every 5 minutes, it was your window to something brand new. And it all started with that shiny little CD. Now let's rewind, literally, and talk about movie nights and VHS drama. Back in the 90s, watching a movie wasn't as simple as clicking play on Netflix. We had VHS tapes, and if you rented one from a video store, Blockbuster anyone, you had to rewind it before returning. If you didn't, they could actually fine you. But nothing, and I mean nothing, was more stressful than when the VCR started making weird noises and the tape got stuck. You'd hear that horrible clicking, and then came the panic. That's when Dad would show up like a superhero, but mad. "Don't touch it! Get a pencil!" he'd yell, because somehow a pencil was the ultimate fix for tangled tape. And speaking of things that didn't last long, let's talk about furniture that literally deflated under you. Inflatable furniture was the thing in the 90s. If you didn't have a clear, bright pink or neon green blow-up chair in your room, were you even a 90s kid? They looked super cool in magazines and toy store ads, like something out of the future. But in real life, they were just big plastic balloons waiting to betray you. The moment you sat down, they made this loud, squeaky noise, and everyone in the room turned to look. And not awkward at all, right? These chairs would randomly deflate too. One day they were standing proud in the corner of your room, and the next they were sad and flat like a popped pool float. You'd keep blowing them up again and again because you needed that aesthetic. But let's be honest, they were uncomfortable. Sitting for more than 10 minutes, yeah, not happening. Now from plastic chairs to plastic pets. Because in the 90s, being a digital pet parent was a full-time job. Tamagotchis were literally our first taste of adulting back in the 90s. These tiny egg-shaped keychains had a little screen with a digital pet inside. And the second you turned it on, boom, you were a parent.
Katie, Buzz is here!
So Tamagotchi can pause.
Hatch a Tamagotchi, the one and only from Bandai.
You had to feed it, clean up its poop, play with it, and even put it to sleep. And if you forgot, yeah, your Tamagotchi would straight up die. It was brutal. One minute your pet is happy, bouncing around the screen, and the next it's a tiny ghost because you missed lunch. What's crazy is how seriously we all took it. Like, we'd pause whatever we were doing. Homework, chores, even conversations, just to press a few buttons and keep our digital pet alive. Alright, let's put down the virtual pets and pick up something even cooler. A gaming console that ruled every playground. Back in the 90s, if you were lucky enough to own a Gameboy, you were basically royalty on the playground. That chunky little handheld with its greenish screen and red buttons was pure magic. But it wasn't all fun and games, because playing in the wrong light was a nightmare. There was no backlight, so if the sun was too bright, you couldn't see a thing. Too dark, also useless. You had to find the perfect lighting angle, which usually meant sitting by a window, leaning weird, or holding the screen just right. And don't even get me started on the batteries. Gameboys ran on 4 AA batteries that died faster than your attention span in math class. You'd be deep into Pokemon and suddenly, screen fades, game gone. If your parents didn't have fresh batteries, you were begging, borrowing, or raiding the TV remote just to keep playing. Now let's talk about the schoolyard game that started real fights and serious trades: POGS. Back in the 90s, every kid was obsessed with POGS. They were these small cardboard circles with cool graphics, cartoons, skulls, glitter, even holograms, and collecting them felt like a full-time job. But it wasn't just about having the coolest designs. Oh no, POGs were serious business. Recess basically turned into a battlefield, with kids stacking their POGs high and slamming them down with a thick plastic slammer to win the whole pile. And let's be real, some kids were total sharks. They'd bring the heaviest slammers, pull out their rare POGs, and clean out your collection before you even knew what happened. Then you'd go home and beg your parents for a new tube of them at the gas station or toy store. Trading was intense too. If someone had a shiny or glow-in-the-dark POG, it was like gold. You'd offer 3 regulars and your best slammer just to get it. Now let's switch it up. In the 90s, nothing screamed cool kid louder than the see-through phone with flashing lights. You know the one, clear plastic casing where you could see all the wires inside and it lit up in rainbow colors every time someone called. It didn't matter if you were talking to your grandma or prank calling your friend from across the street, this phone made every call feel like a party. But here's the funny part. Most of us didn't even get calls. Like, ever. We'd literally pick up the phone for no reason just to watch it flash. Some kids didn't even have it plugged in half the time, they just had it sitting on their desk to show off when friends came over. And if you had it in your room, you were basically royalty. If you had a friend who had this phone, you probably pretended it was no big deal. But deep down, you were totally jealous. And if flashy phones weren't enough, here's something even sweeter we all couldn't get enough of: Waffle Crisp cereal. This cereal was basically breakfast and dessert in one bite. Tiny little waffles swimming in milk, packed with sugary maple flavor that hit you like a syrup bomb. It made your whole bowl smell like a diner. Every 90s kid begged for it at the grocery store, not because it was healthy, but because it was like eating candy for breakfast, and somehow getting away with it. The crunch was perfect, the flavor was addictive, and the commercials, total chaos.
Harnessing years of good old American waffle know-how.
A bunch of crazy old grandmas in a secret lab trying to protect the Waffle Crisp recipe like it was a national treasure. It made you feel like you were part of something legendary just for pouring a bowl. Okay, now remember that one toy that looked like it was from the future but totally flopped? Yeah, let's talk about that. That silver futuristic-looking recorder from Home Alone, when Kevin used it to trick hotel staff and bad guys. Every kid in the 90s immediately wanted one. It looked like the most high-tech, coolest gadget ever. You could record your voice, slow it down, and play it back. It made us all feel like undercover spies with our own top-secret missions. But here's the truth. It kinda sucked. Most of the time it recorded nothing but static, and if you spoke too close or too far, it sounded super weird. Plus, it chewed through AA batteries like crazy. You'd use it for 10 minutes and it would already be dying. Still, none of that mattered back then. We took our Talkboys everywhere, pretending to record super important stuff, like our siblings singing in the shower or our parents yelling from the other room. And when you played it back in slow-mo, ho-ho, comedy gold. If this brought back memories or made you laugh, make sure to share it with another 90s kid.